Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another week of SFR. And this week, you join us in sunny Spain for the Catalan Grand Prix. And with me, as I'm not got Philip by my side this week, instead I've got my GP4 teammate Hunter. Good evening, mate. How you doing?
Hello, I'm not too bad. So excited for this. One of my favourite tracks on the calendar, and should be a good one.
Yeah, it's not going to be a easy one for the guys, and obviously weather permitting, we'll find out once the race starts. Any predictions early on?
Well, I've had a few practice races against drivers in this field, so I'm looking out for Sensei Martins in the Renault in particular, but also you got to look towards the top of the standing. Brumi in the McLaren, Dave Shore in Alfa Romeo, and also Romsey in the Red Bull, who won as a reserve on debut last week.
Yeah, great result in Baku. And obviously, just touching on Baku, I'm sure everyone is relieved as anyone that we're out of the way of that Grand Prix.
I certainly am.
More safety cars than you can shake a stick at. But if we look over the results from the last race, we had, as you say, Romsey come in and take his debut win as his reserve drive. We then had X-Gamer come in, who's missing tonight. He came in second place, and we had Brumi, our championship leader, pick up a third place. At the moment, that gives him a 7-point lead over Luke in the championship, with X-Gamer in third. But with Romsey up to 6th after one race, he'll be looking to jump even further up the league table as well. So we go on to Spain. We'll find out, as I say, in a moment what the weather's going to be like, but what are your thoughts on a wet race around here, Hunter?
I think it shouldn't be as bad as Baku, because obviously you don't get the sort of congestion that you get on the street circuit. So a wet race, there's worse places to have a wet race than Spain. I certainly think that. But obviously you've got the high speed corners can be tricky with the downforce.
Yeah, so, and going into turn one with 17 cars, it looks like we're going to have on the grid with that spray. That was the case.
One of the longest run-ins into turn one. So
yeah,
but I don't think a wet race is overly likely here.
No,
could be wrong, and probably the wrong time to make that prediction.
Yeah, commentators curse and all that.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I think if we go to a dry race, what you were saying about Senna, having done a few practice races with him, the guy's looking incredibly fast. He was incredibly quick in Baku as well, but was just dealt a bit of a raw hand. And if we go back to China, he was doing well there and had connection issues. So I think Senna is due some good luck and a bit of good fortune, and fingers crossed he'll be on the podium tonight.
I think he's made a little sort of switch in his assists layout and taken off traction control, or put it down into medium, which certainly helps. Yeah,
definitely, and it makes a huge difference for that jump off the line as well.
There's a long wait there to get going.
Yeah, fingers crossed we don't have any further issues in the lobby.
No, seems okay, and it looks dry to me.
So qualifying is dry. We'll wait for the report in.
Do we have a weatherman on the scene?
Yep, we do. It is Senna. He said he'd message in and let me know what the weather was going to be like.
Excellent stuff.
Still waiting to hear from him. Dry quality, dry race. Fingers crossed that's the same tomorrow night.
So where do you think that leaves us in terms of strategy and setup?
It's always a funny one, isn't it, when you have drivers from the league that's going on the next night to give away strategies. Who's out first?
Look who's first out.
No surprise. Shadow Britain gets himself out of the pits first. Going back to what you were saying on strategy, I think we've all done enough practice races to realise that the softs around here are great if you've sort of got a late safety car or you're just going for our favourite Plan F. But for me, it's got to be mediums. If you're outside the top 10, start on hards. The difference in pace between all three of the compounds isn't so big here, due to sort of the high speed corners and the long straight. It's really in the last sector that you find that the softer compounds really come into play. But you know, at that point, if you're ahead with someone behind you on a softer compound, it's also an easy section to defend in. There's not really much overtaking other than the sharp left at the end of the DRS straight. So for me, yeah, the harder compounds are the way to go. What I'm probably going to get a complete repeat from you now on what your thoughts on the strategy are.
Well, we're teammates, so we discussed this. So
yeah, but we can't give away too much, can we? So
no,
there will be GP3 drivers listening.
Yeah, 4 sets of softs. 4 sets of softs.
4 sets of soft and a possible intermediate run just to take the drop off in the dry as well.
I mean, that track looks dry, but is it? You never know.
Yeah, you may want to just check. So Shadow starts his flying lap and comes around turn 3, heading into turn 4. A real difficult corner here. You feel like you can get on the power early. If you get on too early, you start going further and further away from the apex and towards the grass. And if your rear wheels clip that grass, it's good night, really. Yeah.
Can I just enlighten you? Everyone out on hards.
Fantastic.
Everyone
I am actually
apart from Geisel
to put up the full track map.
Everyone's fitted the hards apart from Geisel.
What the guys have got fitted. Good shout. You just reminded me to put up what the guys have got fitted and a track map as well. I forget every week. So Shadow goes purple in sector 2, and he will because no one else has set a time yet, and I don't think anyone will ever set a lap before Shadow. So as we watch him come into the last few corners, a real tricky section here. Downhill into a really tight S-bend. One where if you clip the curb too much on the inside, it'll flick the car around, and if you clip the curb too much on the right-hander, you'll either get a warning or just lose all of your speed.
21.9.
21.9.
Proceedings.
So we've got lights now coming through the last section as well. He's covering in the Mercedes tonight for Harry. Looking good through there. Comes around onto the start-finish straight. DCG does a 120.8. Whilst Lights does a 119.6. Wow, that's fast.
That's a very
That's
rapid
really fast. Yeah, we've got Mad G going over the line with a 120.6. So already Lights has got
here comes his Renault teammate. Senna across the line. 19.8.
19.8. Wow, great work from Senna. He has been really solid on his qualifying pace. I think of all the practice sessions that we've done, he's been either first or he's been in the top 2 or 3 every single time, even with 4, 5, 6 GP3 drivers surrounding him. So he has got incredible pace around here.
I think his single lap pace and his pace in clean air is certainly rivaling some GP3 drivers.
We've got our championship leader Broomy across the line with a 121.0.
I think anything around 121, the low 21s on the hards, is not too shabby a lap at all.
No, until you see that Lights has put in a 119.6, which is an outstanding lap.
Lights out, you could say.
Yeah, especially so early on in the qualifying session before the track has really had a chance to speed up, as it were.
A few guys have gone through without setting a time. An invalidation, Romsey and Xander.
Yeah, just looking at them guys now. So we've got Energy Dan coming up through turn 9, another real difficult corner where you can start to lose the back end as the tyres go off, or you can just run out wide into the gravel. I have a feeling as this race goes on tonight, we may see some people in the wall just after turn 9.
I'd say turn 9 and turns probably 2 and 3 are really where you notice when your tyres are starting to drop off.
Absolutely. So Dan comes through the final S's, gets that nice and tidy, doesn't run out too much on the curbs, pulls it in tight for the last corner and goes across the line with a 120.4. He'll be delighted with that. So faster than his teammate, which he'll be even more delighted with, as obviously DCG has come down from GP3 for the night, our ex-GP4, or current, as you would, GP4 champion.
Dan takes an innovative line through turn 1 on his in lap.
I see Ekeland's asking us to say more about our strategies. No is a simple answer to that. So Romsey gets his lap in a 120.5. Change of car this week for him. It was the Williams last week. Now he's in the Red Bull as a full-time driver.
Permanent seat in the Red Bull.
Yeah, great to see.
I think if X Gamer comes back next week, they could start to make a move in the constructors' standings.
Yeah, X Gamer's looking good. I know he's had his difficulties round here, and he's not here tonight, which is going to hit him in the championship if the results go against him. So we've got DCG who's now done 3 laps on them hard tyres. So he's got down to a 20.2, yeah. Mad G's up in 4th with a 20.3. We've got Senna coming back on an out lap.
How many runs do you think you can get on the hards in one go?
From what I've seen, weirdly, with the hard tyres, normally they feel better as the race goes on. For race pace, I think for sheer qualifying pace, your first run is the best one. The second run is, I think, if you've got it absolutely right, but you're pushing your luck. A third run, I don't think there's going to be enough in them to give you that little bit of grip that you need coming out of the corners, the slower corners especially.
I certainly think 2 at most, and 2 at most on the mediums.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the qualifying, if you're going to go for the harder strategy, 2 hard runs and a medium run as DCG pulls into the pits, knowing he wasn't going to better his time. I think 2 hards and a medium is more than enough. You could always go out on a pair of softs and just kind of go hell for leather and see what you can do, and then just come in at the end of the lap. But for me, yeah, the harder option, the better one.
We have got some soft runners coming out.
Yeah,
Cod
Oliver's gone out on some soft tyres.
This could just be a feel lap, because they would have gone hards to softs.
So
they'll have a set of mediums.
Just on that, you may notice some of the guys wearing black helmets tonight. It's a mark of respect for a couple of the guys in GP4 who've had losses in the family over the last couple of weeks. So a nice touch from all of the guys who have been notified to run in the black helmets. I'm sure those that aren't have probably just missed the message. But yeah, a nice little nod of respect there.
I think so. I think we all stick together in this league, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much.
So James Hook out on the lap, which has been invalidated. I can already hear his response in his helmet because I've listened to it enough times in the practice races. We've got lights out on the mediums. That's going to sound good, isn't it? We've got lights out on the mediums.
I think we've
invented
phrase. That nickname.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and pronounce VXN or YXNG, so
no,
it's going to be lights out for us.
Not to tempt fate, but if he were to have an accident, would we be saying that's lights out? For lights, yeah, you could pull quite a few permutations out of this one. Or if he starts on pole,
it's lights out and away, lights out goes.
Yeah, we could be here all day with this, but we've got qualifying to cover and a race, so we'll flick back to Senna, who
save the good stuff for the race, man.
Absolutely. Let's not peak too soon. So light starts his flying lap. Oh, invalidated in turn 2. Too much curb on the inside, pulls onto the grass on the inside, which is a really strange line, and holds up his teammate, who's now going to have binned them softs.
Yeah, Oliver 8/10 down on his best.
Yes, completely threw it away through turn.
Quite see was lights out obstructing the racing line there.
He made a strange move after invalidating his lap on turn 2. He went to the inside of Oliver as well, or lights again, should I say, stopping at the very end of turn 5 and almost getting collected by one of the Hassers. But he made a strange move. He went to the inside of turn 3 when there's tons of runoff on the outside of turn 3, and kind of went off the track and back on as Ollie came round, and Ollie almost collected him, or lights almost collected Ollie.
We're having timing issues, but Hooky has just gone purple in the second sector. Oh, Luke KW.
So 118.8.
But here comes Hooky. It's a 20.6 on 3 lap old hards as well. That's a very impressive time.
So Senna's come into the pits as well. He's given up that second hard run. Luke, weirdly, for the first few races, has been the guy to go hards to the softer tyre, which is really strange on a track that absolutely eats your soft tyres, for him to have decided that the softer strategy is the one to start on, because his hand is now forced. He's not going to go faster on a set of mediums. He may not even have a set of mediums. Definitely not going to go faster on the hards. So an interesting choice of strategy. Maybe he's sort of put all his bets on a safety car.
That could be true. I don't know how many practice races I've done here, maybe half a dozen over the last few days, but I think we've had one full safety car. So it's possible but not likely.
Lights is now on a flying lap. He's now coming up to the infamous turn 9. How's he going to get on through there?
He's 3/10 up through his first sector.
Look, oh, got a bit sideways through turn 9. Probably lost a couple of attempts there.
But Yellow's in 3. Oh, there's a Williams off at the final corner. It's Shadow Britton, who has parked in front of the pit lane. He's parked at the end of it before. He's now going for the clean sweep of parking positions in the pit lane.
Connect 3.
Yeah. So he's about to park in the middle of it.
Lights comes round the final corner.
It's a bizarre incident.
And gives us a 1:18.9 on the mediums. So probably looking at his time on the hards. Yeah, not the greatest of laps. I think because he invalidated his first lap, maybe the mediums had just given him the best. He's invalidated this lap as well, so he's going to be racing back to the pits.
If you're posting that time on the mediums, you're not then looking out for a run on the softs after that, are you?
No.
Got Sensei 98. See, everyone's still waiting in the pits. I think a lot of guys have only gone out and done one run so far.
So current standings, we've got Luke on pole, or provisional, with Lights in second, Senna third, DCG fourth, Mad G fifth, Dave Shaw up to, well, Dave Shaw now to seventh because Senna, or Energy Dan has just gone into third with a 1:19.7 on the mediums. What a lap.
Well, sorry, that medium runner other than the reserve Lights now.
Oh, a great lap from Dan there. He'll be well chuffed with that. Dan's had a few he's had a few PlayStation issues over the last week, with having to completely reformat and download the software all over again today. He's really been cut off of his practice times, and obviously with all of that has lost all of his setups and everything as well. So I think he's managed to pinch a setup before this one, but
only guy on a flyer at the minute is Psycho Mitch. Can't be sure. In sector 2, everyone else either on outlap or on the pit.
So we've got some yellow flags, people pulling off and going slowly.
Ferrari's letting them through, yeah.
Psycho Mitch comes up through turn 9, really takes it off the power there. Almost lacking some confidence in the car going through there. But he is purple in the second sector. He's gone purple in sector 2. So for all of my comments have lifted off.
Pro Oliver on softs into third with a 19.1.
So we missed that one. We'll watch Psycho Mitch come around the last couple of corners here into the tricky S-bend. Comes in really slow into the first part.
See, it should be flat as soon as you get onto it out of the chicane.
Did you find a short shift up the gears would work to stop the wheels spinning if you've come off a bit of curb?
If I knew what I was doing with a gearbox, then probably. But
well, just be careful because the last thing you'd want to do is flunk it before the first corner. So we've got to be careful with them gearboxes.
Exhausted at 1. I think another short shift opportunity sort of as you're riding the crest out of sort of 7 in the sort of uphill section. I find it hard to. Your auto gearbox doesn't really give you the sort of oomph you want in that area.
So we've got DCG on a flyer. He's now coming through sector 2. We've got a McLaren going slowly, but it looks like he's seen him.
It's a very odd colour combination. A Ferrari with a pale blue helmet.
Oh, that was wide, but he's got away with that somehow. Comes down to the timing marker. Yeah, I see what you mean with the helmet. It's very Daniel Ricciardo and a Renault. It's almost like he's done this purposely for tonight, but well, it makes you stand out, I suppose, and we'll be able to tell him and Dan apart quite easily. So DCG comes around the final corner. Dan's going out on a set of softs. He goes into 4th with a 19.5. Do you know what? He may have just pipped Dan there, but I think Dan will be delighted to only be a couple of tenths off his teammate on the same tyres. And in the background, Dan comes out on his soft tyres. So we've got our Toro Rosso compatriot, only one driving tonight, Zander. He's up into, well, he was 8th, he's now 9th, but he's now, has he completed a lap on the mediums?
Carl Oliver just gone a 19.8 on the mediums.
Yep, and it looks like the way he's gone into turn 1 and 2, he might be trying another one, but he's gone a bit wide through 2, which will compromise your speed and your run through 3. As you can see, he's gone quite wide through there, which will have lost him a bit of time.
I think he's got the fuel and the time to get round again. I don't think this is really the end of the cut-off when you need to be out.
So we've got Senna in 6th, so he's now starting a flying lap into turn 1. Nice line through there, doesn't clip the curb in 2.
Wide.
Feathers it through 3.
Very wide through 3.
Yeah, really need to be clipping that apex. I find if you can get it in and just pull a little bit of curb on the inside, you can keep it pinned throughout.
I think it's either in and lift off, or really wide and then sort of in
and just
sort of
go for
late apex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
who is that? That's a Williams who is on a flying lap. So the Williams at Shadow Britain isn't going to have to.
Shouldn't get in his way. I wouldn't imagine you're going to pull back that sort of time. But he is purple in sector 2. Hopefully doesn't hold him up, and it's just a good marker for him. Makes it through that tricky corner there, which isn't really a corner. And as he comes down here, he probably is going to benefit from this, if anything, if he gets this right.
A little toe.
Yep, and that could be the difference, half a tenth. Gets in the slipstream and goes pole with a 1:18.7 on the mediums. Well done, Senna. So
that is a very, very impressive lap.
We've got some guys who have now finished. So Pro Oliver Lights is across the line. He finishes in 4th on a 1:18.9 at the moment. So we've got James Hook, who's just gone into 7th. So he pips his good friend Energy Dan at the moment. However, Energy Dan is on a flyer on the soft tyres. So you'd like to think he's going to go quicker, unless this is just a bit of time killing. And he's going to pull into the pits. Dave Shaw jumps up to 6th. And Luke takes pole off of Senna with a 1:18.5 on the softs.
Energy Dan is going to complete his lap on the softs.
So this is him committing to it.
No, he's not.
Binned it.
Why wouldn't you just pit there? Maybe trying to scrub in a set of softs?
Who knows? Scrubbing in a set of softs around here means driving around 2 corners and then just taking them off. I wouldn't want to complete a lap, because that's your race run on them done.
So that is everyone done, apart from Senna and Shadow Britain, but not.
So we've got SFR's
on.
SFR's own Lee Carroll in the chat, saying that medium hard is the best strategy. Lee, you're more than welcome to come back and show us that tomorrow night.
Hopefully not in a Renault.
No.
GP3 Renaults have a monstrous lead through 4 races.
They do, and have now bagged Ekeland, I believe. Oh no, Ekeland's gone to Red Bull, hasn't he?
Yes, he's taken the Red Bull.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, Philippe's on the chat. It's quite an emotional message, Philippe. Thank you. I'll keep that one with me.
Do you feel like you're caught between your teammate and your commentator?
No, I don't really like anyone. So it's yeah, I cut off the emotion quite easily. But no, it's you know, me and Philippe have done a few comms together now, and it seems to be working really well. But me and you talk so much through strategies and races that I think this works just as well. So yeah. No issues. So that's qualifying done. Ben, if you want to give us a rundown of the positions.
I have them here. It is Luke KW, second in the championship at pole today on an 18.5. He is the only soft qualifier apart from Pro Oliver, but we've got Senna, the leader of the mediums, in second, supported by his teammate Maggi with an 18.9. Beats Lights Out by 1,000th of a second in the Mercedes in fourth. Then Pro Oliver on softs in fifth. Then it's a run of mediums. Obviously, they know something strategy-wise. Dave Shaw sixth, DCG, James Hook, Energy Dan, Cod Oliver. That is the end of the top 10. Everyone after this will have free range of tyres. Psychomich, Xander, Tommy, Broomy, Romsey, Shadow Britain, and Gisolodian.
I've called him much worse, so yeah.
That Hassman.
Yeah, that Hassman is probably the safer bet to go for. So We wait for the drivers to ready up, sort out fuel loads. What would your ideas be? Would you run heavy, or would you run light in the hope of a safety car?
Well, I have a sort of self-restricted rule that I don't go above 55 kilos, just for simulation reasons. But I sort of I give myself enough for Rich sort of the first couple of laps. So I'm thinking about +1 lap, and then by 2 laps you're sort of on pace, and it's sort of a balance of weight and fuel reserves and things like that. I also find that you use more than what Jeff calls 1 lap in 1 lap round here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you're always trying to get on the throttle early through those longer corners.
So, oh, hold on a second. We don't have. We have a race.
There's no formation lap.
No formation lap.
And we've
so
got drive-throughs, and it's carnage, and Luke is off, and
Senna takes a lunge on the inside, but Luke's got that line that you really prefer.
I prefer the inside.
Going in. We've got a Alfa Romeo off in the background. We've got absolute confusion and chaos at the moment.
I've got no idea who's on what tyre. It's absolute carnage.
However, everyone is still going. Yep, right, let's scrap formation laps from now on because that clearly works. And we've got all 17 runners going around the circuit at the moment. So as we watch them come through this tricky part of the track.
Just for the strategy nerds out there, only 2 hard starters, Romsey and Shadow Britain. Everyone else on the mediums. At least someone got a jump start there. I don't know who it was. There's one for Dave Shaw, and that's it. It's Dave Shaw with a drive-through penalty.
Okay, and he did come off at turn 1 as well. So we've got a yellow flag. We've got a McLaren off.
It's Sykomich.
Sykomich has gone off. He's dropping down the order. No damage, it seems. Just that horrible fake left-hand corner. As Luke comes across the line, obviously with the fastest lap of 1:25.7. That's not a bad pace.
Pro Oliver spun it as well. Last corner.
Oh, so we've lost Pro Oliver there as well. He comes around and again no damage. Something that a little bit more forgiven than Baku is that you can spin here and get away with it. However, if any of you have watched the GP3 stream and seen what my teammate did when he got shunted off, I don't know how many times he got hit, more than necessary.
3. It was 3.
But managed to reverse whilst everyone drove around him, and then 180 his car in the middle of between turns 3 and 4.
If you want how to rejoin safely onto track, it's like that. I was facing the wrong way as Fester was sort of driving towards me, had to let him through and flipped it around brilliantly. Just to add penalty to penalty, Dave Shaw got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Not what you want. So,
and now he's deliberately retired by crashing into the wall.
Wow, and we have a safety car.
Cut.
So, I have to be careful what I say now. So Luke comes into the pits on the soft tyres, a smart move, almost wipes his car out in the pit lane with that hidden bit of wall that sticks out. So that gives us the Renault.
Yes, Luke KW.
Yeah, Renault 1-2.
The soft starters want to get off of those tyres.
But what would you do now? What would you do?
Because hard.
So he's going to try and go 30 laps. Let's say the safety car's 2 laps, so 28 laps on the hards. That is.
I think what it does is best leave open the possibilities. They could be more safety cars, and he could go to the end on those. He could go hard to soft. He could go hard to medium if there's a safety car 13, 14 laps out, something like that.
But, so, as you say, if you're starting on the mediums, what these guys now have done is bang-ons. It's yes, great for them. DCG has got himself into 4th place, and we've got 2 Renaults, a Mercedes Ferrari, Mercedes Ferrari.
It's like 2006 all over again.
That's way beyond my knowledge.
For McLaren.
Well, really disappointed with that because we'd sort of got off to a great start. There was a couple of spins, but no big incidents. But a real silly move. I mean, a 5-second penalty to doing your next pit stop isn't the end of the world. There could have been a safety car, the one that you didn't cause.
But he
there
did
could
have the jump start.
Yeah.
And he may look to the no formation lap as what caught him out. I got caught out in a practice race by a notification going on that my friend was online.
Yeah, I've made sure I turn all of them off now. So as we come around for another lap under the safety car, we've got Pro Oliver at the back who's now catching the pack up. James Hook coming through the last S's with Broomy just in front of him. So our championship leader currently down in 14th. With Luke, who switched out into 13th. So we'll pop on what tyres the guys have got on now.
I've had the tyres on. You had the position switcher on. Just everyone's moved up because Luke KW has had to pit. So it's a sea of green at the top.
I just hope that everyone gives each other enough space under the safety car when we back up and go for the restart.
It should be better than Baku.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting that awful chain of cars tucked in nose to tail. However, Lights did just get very close to the back of Mad G then, who has been shunted a few times under safety cars in previous races.
I'd say they're a little unnecessary close at the back. 10 car lengths is plenty of room. I mean, there's some sort of braking going on at the back to avoid contact, which is better than contact, but not normally necessary.
So we go back to the front. We should see the safety car come in this lap. Yep, there it is.
There you go. So this is full, so we're going to have 29 laps. For the medium starters, I don't think this should affect their strategy plan too much.
No, I think maybe you could push an extra lap.
So we've got a collision at the back.
Has hit James Hook.
Hook has, I think, spun.
Well, he's been hit because Pro Oliver got the severe collision for hitting.
I saw that.
Oh, and James Hookins been given a 3-second time penalty. Okay, so we'll flick back to the front as Senna backs them up for the restart. The safety car is now in the pits, and it looks like Senna's going. Really tough place to get a good restart here, but he's got that peace of mind that it's his teammate behind him, so fingers crossed there'll be no crazy lunges into the first corner. However, they do seem to have got the jump over Lights.
Oh, he's going for it. He's going for it.
He is. No team orders as of yet.
Maggi makes the move.
Senna gives way. Maggi goes a little bit wide through too, but that's brought Lights right back into it. They did have a second gap over him, so Maggi leads. Lights goes very wide through 3. We've got DCG still in 4th, but Energy Dan has managed to get up to 5th past Cod Oliver, so we missed that one as well, but obviously we can't keep up with everything. However, whatever's happened between Dan and Cod Oliver has really created a gap between
Cod Oliver past Xander, or Xander coming back at him.
So he's got the inside line.
Oh, that's very tight.
That's a great move. And Dan's gone wide with managed to get everyone through there. So Xander now in prime position to make a move on Energy Dan, but Energy Dan goes safe.
There is a huge gap now between DCG and Energy Dan.
So ISRL Tommy gets past Giselodian after he makes a move.
Energy Dan's really struggling. Xander all over the back of him.
Yeah, there is quite the chain of cars as we come through the penultimate 2 corners. Maggi sets the fastest lap of the race.
Pro Oliver is spinning all over the gravel in sector 2 at the back of the field.
So he's gone off. If he is he's lost his front wing completely, so he's had a massive accident there. Fingers crossed if he is going to
into the pits. And to lose your hard run on 2 laps really can be a killer.
I think we could see James Hook retire. I really hope not. So we'll go back
I
to the
think
front.
Two medium runs and a safety car.
So
and
Senna's gone back into the lead.
right
We've
back in
missed
it.
that as well. So Senna must have got Mad G down the start finish straight. Mad G's had an off, and he's
And Pro Oliver's out.
So
We've
Pro
lost
Oliver's
Pro
inside of
Oliver.
Mad G almost loses it coming round. So DCG is right back up. This now gives Lights the opportunity to dive up the inside. He does, and we've got a safety car. So that means Pro Oliver.
For Pro Oliver, who has retired at the entry of the pits. Pink dot is right on that last corner.
As he tried to come into the pits and smashed his car up. He didn't have a front wing, so his obviously ability
Quick
to
strategy
turn,
question.
So
If you're one
Senna's
of the
going.
medium runners,
So Senna's staying out.
if you're one of the medium runners and you're going to one stop, would you go for it into the pits now? Someone's in. Ferrari's in. Energy Dan's in. But no one follows him.
So fortunately, this will bring James Hook back into the race.
Oh, Luke
Who
KW
picks up another penalty for cutting the corners. So unnecessary when there's a safety car out, especially which he's done both of them under. You know, he's going to have plenty of time to catch them up. I just... So I'm not sure what happened with Mad G and Senna for Senna to get back past. I can only think that he slipstreamed him down the start-finish straight. And then Mad G seemed to...
It looked like it was sort of team strategy, sort of trying to switch the DRS every lap and sort of move them as one unit, both Renaults together as one. But Lights Out has completely put a Mercedes in between the Renaults. A spanner in the works. That's not really a pun. We'll move on from that.
No, I'm just looking at the chat. Dave's in there saying that no one was told no formation lap. He jumped the start thinking it was the usual formation lap. Yeah, I have to agree with him on that. You know, formation lap is a standard on our races here, so I can totally get that you'd be dead on waiting for one red light and then to go. Unfortunately, myself and Ben don't control what happens in these races. It's all done by your lobby host.
We have had calls for red flags and restarts for issues before. Normally when it's impossible to race because of connection issues. This one, I think they're just going to have to let go as one of them things, really.
Yeah, I know there's been some trouble in some of the other races as well, so we should have one more lap of the safety car and then we'll get back racing. So that's two safety cars that we've had in this race, where we were kind of saying that potentially there wouldn't even be one.
Well, I was saying, so it's
but I do believe that they're for very much unforeseen reasons. It's not, you know, we've had a couple of spinners and people go off, which, as we say, hasn't really caused any issue of needing for stoppages or safety cars.
Can we just big up the Toro Rosso, Xander?
Yeah, sitting in 5th position, driving alone tonight. No Sonic Hawk to back him up, who is getting married this week. So congratulations to him, and
big congratulations to him.
Many happy returns. If he is watching, I don't know if he'll be allowed with what's going on this week, but I did see something on Facebook that he was asking if anyone had a PlayStation controller that he could borrow. So he definitely did try his best to get on.
I think you've got a window between the best man speech and cutting the cake when you probably...
Yeah, if we ran a little 5-lap race league, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to jump on. To build on Matt in the chat, I don't know if you misheard what I said, but myself and Ben don't control. I don't know why the formation lap wasn't on. I can only assume that it's just been missed as we've started the lobby up. So, but as I say, it's not down to us. So the safety car is in this lap as Senna starts to back the guys up as we come into the last few corners. The safety car is now heading into the pit lane, and Senna is off. takes a strange line over the S's, and I would imagine he got a warning for that, but that has given him quite the gap. So an interesting line from Senna there, but we restart. Green flags.
Everyone's had a bit of a gap.
Yeah.
Sort of 8, 9 tenths between every driver.
So Mad G was quite close to lights there on making the move. Now,
Luke
really,
is right on the back of Energy Dan into turn 1. He steals it to the inside. No, there's hit. There's a touch. They both get away okay. James Hook takes the place. Oh no, he's hit the back of James Hook.
No.
And hooks into the gravel.
James Hook manages to keep going. Luke is missing an end plate now from that as well. But if we get back to the front, really, with Mad G wanting to run as shotgun for his teammate now, needs to hassle Lights as much as he can to let Senna get a breakaway. We know Lights is quick from his pace in qualifying, whereas Mad G gets really wide coming through turn 9.
I agree. So I think
Senna does have the DRS gap at the moment, so that will be on in a couple of laps, but he does have 1.3 at the moment. And as you said earlier, Senna's pace in clear air is very, very good. So, and his ability to run on the tyres as well, I've seen is solid.
This has got to be definitely the place you want to be, out in front with a gap. He's got to be pushing these first 2-3 laps.
So he's straight into the 22s with a 22.646
to get out of the DRS. He should have a full reserve they should have plenty of fuel now as well to push hard, and as you should be saving enough in the safety car.
So Cod Oliver's into 6th. We've got ISRL Tommy in 7th, Rumsey in 8th, Psychomich up to 9th. Shadow just out of the points in 11th, but he is getting hassled by the championship leader Broomy, with Energy Dan not far behind him. Luke is in the pits to get a new front wing and is now on mediums, so he's definitely not going to be doing another 23 laps on them. So the strategy for Luke hasn't really paid off, but that's more down to his own mistake. We've got another safety car. James Hook has retired or crashed. Where has James Hook lost it? Turn 4. He's hit the grass on the outside. And, well, this is worse than Baku. I'll just watch Luke as we'll come past to see James in the wall. Oh, he's gone. The car's been removed.
Yeah, that looked like his position was sort of right before the entry of 4. It looks like grass on the exit of 3.
So Senna has now pitted in. So Senna will be going on to the hards, I would imagine now, as by the time the safety car comes in.
Lane. Xander the first to not pit, and Romsey who started on the hards.
Interesting strategy. Well, I suppose I get it with Romsey. He's got another 10 laps at least out of them hards.
Definitely.
So he could come in and put a set of softs on towards the end.
If you're starting at the back on hards, and we've had at least one, do you want another safety car? You don't want this one, I'm sure, to give the medium runners the chance to switch.
No. I mean, where's Shadow going there? Just deciding to try a practice lunge up the inside of Gisselodian under the safety car. So we've got a Toro Rosso in front. Let's take a moment just to celebrate that, Ben.
Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
And Kimmy in the chat says there's been more laps with the safety car than without. Not far off. So if we now look, we've got Luke, who is still in last place on the mediums and hasn't decided to pit.
DCG has got in front of Mad G. I think the Renaults must have been too
double
close.
Stacking.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely were. Definitely were.
If you're the second Renault, you can. There's nothing to stop you from really slowing up and trying to get that gap. But that's gonna.
So Luke is now coming up to the back of the pack as the guys get really close going into the last few turns.
This was where it was before, right before 12. Well, no, oh no, the chicane. I guess it's the slice part of the circuit. They all sort of congest, but they've got to be careful. We've had one safety car hit already.
I get the cars being close on a restart because you want to maximise the restart. You don't want to lose too much space. But when you know the safety car's not coming on, is it worth like getting right up someone's backside and risking a 5-second penalty and losing a bit of wing? It's just
penalties. You're probably heating your heating your engine a bit
so
more.
Energy Dan has got a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. Wow, that's a really tough penalty.
1 and 2.
Now I know we saw a 5-second in China, if you remember, with Serdar in GP3 at the hairpin, but 10 seconds under a safety car, that to me just seems a very, I mean, you know, if he's gone on the inside of the track, so be it, but he's under a situation where he's not going to gain anything. So I find that a real strange penalty to be handed out.
But it's another thing you risk if we're running too close.
Yeah, because if you have to take a dive out of the way to the inside, you do run that risk of having to go off track.
Seems to have calmed down a little bit now.
So we've got
the back of the pack.
The top 4, a mixture of medium hard, all done 11 laps on them tyres. Getting these tyres back up to temperature after the after this safety car is going to be difficult, especially as you'll come sliding around that last corner, and then you've just got a long straight which cools them down again.
Especially for the hard runners, I feel as well.
Yeah. So Xander's not really much room between Xander and the safety car. You can see the safety car there in the distance going down through the S's now. So, but I also think restarting or launching before this corner here is difficult because you can get the corner wrong and misjudge your braking. But then launching here is where everyone is expecting you to go. So we're off again, and it looks like he's got a great launch anyway. So I've chatted absolute rubbish there.
Broomy is all over the back of Shadow Britain. This looks to be the closest 2 cars of the front runners. He's going to get him even before the corner.
Yep. Looks like Broomy's running a real fast wing as DCG just comes flying up the inside as well. Oh, and there's contact.
There's a hit. And Dan.
It's DCG.
No Energy Dan.
No, Dan's out.
So
he's lost his front
managed
wing.
to find a gap in the barrier to the park. Otherwise that could have been a lot worse than it was.
So contact between Shadow. So Senna's passed. Now Shadow is fighting off Lights. This will only benefit Senna in the long run if he can keep him behind through, well, you'd like to think the rest of this lap, but Lights is going for the move up the inside. That's tight. He's got it done. He slides. And now he's got Shadow all over the back of him. There's an absolute train of cars going through turn 9, and we all know following each other through there.
Just the wrong line through 9. He sort of was looking like he was going to go for an overtake.
DCG goes up the inside of Shadow as well. Great move there. Shadow, did he just get hit?
Oh, he's pulled out. No, he pulled out. And he lets Mad G through. Looked a clean move from DCG. He made the corner.
We'll get back to the front. So we've got Luke and Sykomic very close to each other. Well, we've got sort of the last 5-6 cars all within 2 to 3 cars length of each other.
I'll be keeping an eye on Luke KW at the back because this is where, second in the championship, he's got, and the only medium runner in the back, he's got to start picking these cars off one by one.
Oh, Xander spun! Xander spun! And he's lost his front wing. Now he's got to be careful how he comes back on the track. He's driving backwards. I think he's just been disqualified. Nope. It's now safe for him to return to the track, and he's back on. But he's lost. How has he got away with that little damage? I mean, that looks like it would be sort of a heavy orange front wing, but we've seen people through turn 2 hit the wall and take a wheel off. So we've got Energy down in the pits getting a new front wing and a set of mediums. We've now got Romsey in the lead, so for 2 weeks running Romsey leads, and he's got quite a healthy gap over Broomy. However, Broomy will be looking to go to the end.
But he's the one you have to watch if they can last.
As Senna comes up the inside of Gisselodian, going into turn 10, gets the move done, really clean, really nice driving there by both of the guys. That's how you overtake.
There's a train in front of Luke KW, starting with his championship rival teammates. He's
Oh,
looking
Lights
outside
very
of
close to the back there. As Mad G comes in and almost clouts the back of DCG, but Lights is now getting held up a little bit. He'll get Gisolodian down the straight as he...
Surely, even without
And
DRS.
Senna is going for Broomy as well.
Gisolodian
Senna
on 14
on the
old
inside
mediums.
and gets the move done. We've got the worst camera angle in the world to see what was going on the inside of two there, but Senna gets the move done. So the real winner here from the safety car and the restart is Senna. He's on them fresh tyres. They'll go to the end and he's into second already.
Yeah,
So
you've got to think Gisolodian and Xander are ruining, not coming in under that third safety car.
Oh, your microphone's reverberating again, Ben. Just
Oh. Any better? Any better?
yeah, much better.
That.
So we still have a chain of cars coming through turn 9. That could get really messy, but
Yeah,
they've all
it
done great. So DCG makes the lunge on Gisolodian. That's tight.
And
There's
the racing point. Tommy got.
Oh, and
far
Mad G's
too
been
caught
caught
up
up
in
in that as well. We've got Shadow just behind all of the madness here. Mad G in 9th. He's not going to be too chuffed with how the restart's gone, but I think he'll be quite pleased that he still has his front wing intact. Oh, gets it really wrong going through there.
That's the fastest lap with a 22.4.
That's a great.
He's got the gap already under 3.5 seconds. I think he's taking 6-7 tenths. His lights out. Gets past Broomy. DRS.
So these two are going to go to the end. This is where the battle is at. If there is no more safety cars, it is down to them two. Got DCG making moves in 5th. He's on the same wear of tyres as Senna and Lights. Got Luke up the inside of Mad G, who's gone from 9th to 11th in half a lap. So really not having the best of restarts.
No.
Really difficult, isn't it? When you get sort of caught in the pack, one wrong move leads to the next 3 corners being compromised.
Especially when it's a whole plethora of different tyres and different strategies and different paces out there at the minute.
So
Luke KW.
if we just change the gaps to the intervals, we've got Senna 2.8 seconds.
He's got Gisolodian for 8th place. And Luke as well
Completely
gets
the
past
wrong
his teammate for 9th. Gisolodian on 15 lap up mediums.
Yeah, he's got to look at coming in this lap. You can see his corner speed is just through the floor. His Light sets the fastest lap of the race, so 122.2. That's a great speed.
Gisolodian is in.
Well.
Gisolodian is in.
Yep.
He did 15 laps on mediums.
Almost hits the pit wall on the way in. So Senna has the gap down now to 2.458 seconds to Romsey, who is on 16 lap old hards. They'll still feel okay, but not quite the same as hards that are 10 laps younger. They've then got Lights a further 2.5 seconds behind, and it looks like Senna is keeping the gap steady there. Our championship leader Broomy, he's in 4th, but he's gonna get some serious pressure from DCG and ISRL Tommy very soon.
Trying to look at if Tommy picked up any damage. No, the racing point looks intact.
The gap from Romsey to Senna is now down to 2 seconds.
That's going to keep coming down, I think.
Yep, 1.9. So a little thing for me here is, I know Senna is running quite a high rear wing on here, which will make it difficult to overtake down the straight if Romsey is running sort of a lower, faster wing, because I've seen it in the practice races where you can
even with DRS?
Yeah, even with DRS. I'm not going to give away what I've seen actually, I almost did, but yeah, it does make a difference. If you look at that, Romsey was 1.5 ahead going into the Senna coming around the final corner. He pulled out 4 temps down the start-finish straight, so that says to me that Romsey's running a lower wing. I think Senna's best bet is going to be when Romsey pits.
Which you have to stay.
Senna out very wide at turn 4, almost on the grass. We've got Luke battling with Shadow Britain now.
Good thing for Senna is, though, he's pulling away from lights out. There
He
was
is.
a moment ago where the gap between each of the top four was between 2 and 2.5 seconds. He's now got nearly 3 to lights out, who in turn's got nearly 3 to Broomy, who is on the more worn tyres. We've got someone
So
off at
Senna's.
second two.
So it's Romsey.
Romsey's gone.
So he's still going. He's in second, but it looks. Can't see from the camera if he's got any damage.
The front
No.
left is horridly scrubbed.
Luke picks up a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. However, if we watch Romsey now, so Senna's got the lead. He's now got 3 seconds over Romsey. Now, Lights will be in the DRS. I think Lights may also be running quite a low rear wing. Yeah, it looks like he is with the pace that he's. Yeah, see, Romsey's. That's going to be tight.
Ooh.
That's a great move. Great move from Lights. Made the corner. Romsey saw it as well. So again, a great bit of driving. But that now gives Senna a 3.2, 3.3 gap over Lights. So at the moment, this is Senna's to lose. We've mentioned it a couple of times now, but his clear air pace has been phenomenal.
You've got to think that pulling out from Romsey there also benefited him. He's got
We've got a great battle going on from 8th right back to 11th.
4 cars. Cod Oliver, Shadow Britton, Maggi, Psycho Mitch.
That's 5.
Oh, it's Luke KW. It's from Luke KW backwards.
Yeah. It's alright. But it looks like Luke's going to get away from this a bit. He's on 9-lap old mediums, which will still be quite good. He does have good pace, but he is going to have to stop again.
Defending from Psycho Mitch.
Maggi's got himself in the points.
Same time, apart from Shadow Britton, who still needs to
Senna sets the fastest lap.
For the second lap in a row, a 22.1.
So showing great consistency, and he's now got the gap up to 4.2 seconds.
And you think the hards get faster and faster, surely we're going to get a fastest lap. Think under 122?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I know that the hards, even on the last lap of the race, if you've saved up a bit of fuel in the RS, you can challenge your personal best. After maybe sort of 18 to 20 laps on him. But he's continuing to pull the gap. And Romsey, not somehow, with on 10 lap older tyres, is only a second now behind. So a great showing from Romsey for his second race.
I go right ahead.
No, you're
Oh
alright.
yeah, Romsey's fitted in like a glove to water.
Yeah,
duck to water.
Yeah, duck to water. That's you did say save the best for later, so I'll let you have that one.
Thank you. Imagine a duck in water wearing a glove.
That fits really well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
This midfield battle is really intriguing. Luke's got the gap up to Oliver to 2.5 seconds, so this is where you'd feel Oliver now won't have the DRS, but everyone behind will. But Shadow Britton goes way too deep in the first part of the chicane, and he pits. Shadow Britton pits.
So Shadow pits. I had a feeling that would have to happen soon. I was about to say, well done to him for running with them guys on tyres that were 10 laps younger. So Shadow goes out of the points into 11th. That gives us a top 10 that have Romsey and Luke, who will need to pit again.
But you'd think they'd have the gap to do so. If
Well,
Shadow Britton has pit and that's 11th, and Gislodian's 32 seconds, it looks like we've got a clear top 10 at the moment.
If you say the delta for a pit stop is around 20 to 22 seconds, depending on how good you are at predicting when you're good to go.
You're pretty much... Shadow Britton has resumed 23 seconds behind the car in front. Maybe a bit more.
So the gap between Lights and Senna is sort of sat at between 4 and 4.5 seconds now for a couple of laps.
I'd say that's normally my comfort sort of gap.
Yeah, you know you've got enough to sort of turn it down for one lap and sort of save up some ERS and maybe save a bit of fuel. Senna sets the fastest lap again, a 1:22.1, and now he's now I don't know what happened there. The gap showed 5.2 seconds as Romsey's gone into the pits.
Romsey in.
And that puts Zander with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. I'm not going to do the voice. You're going to do the voice, that's fine. So DCG is up to 4th. Broomy is up to 3rd. So our championship leader with a good showing so far. However, 11 more laps on them hard tyres is going to be a bit of an ask. I think we may see a puncher if he tries to stay out for that.
Yeah, I think ones you've got to watch in terms of the tyres are him and Broomy running in 3rd place, who could, but maybe
so we've got Mad G under a second behind Cod Oliver, so they're battling for 7th place at the moment. They seem to have created a bit of a gap to Psychomich, and obviously we've then got the gap to Luke, but Luke is going to have to pit.
Psychomich all over.
Oh, as Cod Oliver goes wide, Mad G goes wider, and Psychomich gets an absolute face full of dirt.
It's so hard to follow in the high-speed corners here.
That turn 9 is horrible.
1, 2, 3 and 9. But this is where Mad G's got to try and close the gap and get into DRS range.
So the gap between Senna and Light still sits at 4.5 seconds. So Senna's controlling that nicely. No fear of sort of tyre wear. And the only thing I would say is potentially with running
DCG
a higher
on
wing.
DCG on Broomy at turn 1. Got the move done very nicely.
So that's DCG up to 3rd. So DCG looking at a podium here. He's got 5.5 seconds to Lights. I don't know if he's got the pace to reel him in.
Combination of DRS, fresher tyres, the inside of turn 1.
And a bigger set of you know what for braking that late as well.
That's why he's the GP4 champion from last season.
So it looks like things are stabilised a bit now.
Mad G was 9/10 behind Oliver last time at this last lap at this point.
Oh, Oliver gets it really squirrely coming out of 9, but somehow keeps his speed going down the straight. Really like Mad G's helmet. I know he's running with the black for as a mark of respect. The Senna gets into the 121s, but the black and gold helmet looks fantastic with the Renault. Really good shout on the colours.
Matching. I always think a helmet should match the car. I'm just trying to find Senna's lap times. Wonder if he's sort of doing a cool down then a push. No, just looks like a lot of pushing.
So Mad G's lost a bit of time to Cod Oliver. The gap's now 1.3 as Romsey goes fastest with a 1:21.8 on the mediums, only matching Senna's time on 13 lap old hards. So that's really impressive as Luke goes past ISRL Tommy, so I can only assume Tommy's made a mistake. So oh, he's missing an end plate.
Been a collision there.
Yeah.
Something.
He wasn't. Yeah, but he wasn't near Broomy, so it definitely wasn't another car, unless he's made a mistake. Him and Luke have then come together as Luke has caught him up. James Braden with a comment in the chat saying Senna looks on great form. He does, absolutely. The gap's now up to 5.2.
And the gap between Lights Out and DCG over 6. So we've got 2 reserves in the podium.
Senna again with the fastest lap, a 1:21.8. So that's 2 1:21.8s in a row from Senna.
Bonus point. Every point counts.
It does. So Broomy's still going in 4th place. He's still within DRS on DCG, which is going to keep him away from Luke. But I would say that both of these guys are going to have to stop again. Mad G back within half a second of Cod Oliver, who doesn't have DRS down the straight. But Mad G does. He's closing. He's too far back.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the right move. That's the right move. Stay on him, save it for another lap. Oliver catching up to Tommy with his...
Yeah, Tommy missing that end plate. The thing is here, the slightest bit of wing damage around these high speed corners absolutely destroys you. Baku was quite forgiving.
Should have boxed. Could have boxed for mediums or even softs with only
I would now be boxing for softs. That would be my strategy if I was in that situation. He's still got a great opportunity to finish in the points. He comes out on them softs, which are going to be really sticky. What we got?
Yeah, these two are eating him up. Ollie just right on the back of Tommy, and he's going to make the move on the inside. Oh, he's gone way too deep. Oliver way into the runoff.
And that gives Mad G the place.
Tommy and
as
Mad
well.
G goes through.
And do you know what? Good driving there, because he's gone wide. He's touching the grass. He's off. He's spun.
He's spun.
He's managed to hold it. He needs to get going. Oh, just gets out of the McLaren's way. Really difficult one there, because he just got sort of beached in the middle of the track. But
yeah,
a scrappy couple
Tommy
of corners.
Tommy is in.
So that puts Mad G up into 6th. Now Mad G's got to be looking at. He's 5.5 seconds behind Luke. Luke is on 16 old lap medium, so they're going to be screaming at the moment.
And Broomy as well.
So
maybe
Mad
Broomy
G
has enough of a gap.
could be on for a top 4. Yeah. We've still got 7 laps to go. Senna's still got the gap at 5.5 seconds.
Ollie was very, very wiggly and.
Oh, Lights picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. See, I can't do it.
Voice this time?
Yeah.
I won't.
So now Senna's lead currently 8.7 seconds. After that, I haven't seen a penalty pop up for Senna. I think he's kept it quite clean all race.
No, he's fine.
So ISRL Tommy's out on the softs. He's got 18.8 seconds to shadow, but he does have a potential stopper in Luke and Broomy as well, depending on how long they continue for.
Thing is, with Lights out, he seems to have the gap to DCG.
Yeah, he does.
Even with the 3 seconds.
Well, DCG's still getting heat from Broomy, who's got these hards on 23 laps now. So Broomy has the DRS open. I don't think he's going to get close enough for a move. No, he's definitely not going to get close enough. Sector 2, we've got a yellow flag. And that will be Dan, and that is going to bring out a safety car.
Not yet, it won't.
It looks like it's not going to, because they're pretty quick. Yep, so...
You got very excited for a safety car there. It could give us a carnage for the last 6-7 laps.
Yeah, it was a mixture of excitement and I think I would have been absolutely gutted for Senna as well. So the yellows are still out in Sector 2. And Dan's car has now been retrieved. They work quick around here.
No safety car. I think a VSC would have been fair there, but
yep.
Glad we got nothing.
Although looking at where the car was, it wasn't in a dangerous position on the inside of. It was turn 6, wasn't it? He was on the inside of, so.
Yeah.
So 6 seconds, which is actually 9 seconds, is the gap from Senna to Lights. DCG 8 seconds behind. Broomy still within DRS on DCG on 24 lap old hards. Fair play to Broomy, our championship leader. He's dug in here, and I hope it pays off for him and he gets to the end. We've got Luke on 17 on lap.
Between Psycho Mitch, Todd Oliver and Romsey, who's on medium lap younger mediums compared to their hards. But after that spin, he's got to be trying to make his way through here and pick up these 2 places.
And he's
not going to get it done.
Still in range, isn't he? If Broomy had an issue with tyres or Luke had an issue with tyres, he's still in range to gain a couple of positions there as well. He looks
everything's
really
played
quick.
For in the last 6 laps.
Goes out really wide as ISRL Tommy does a 21.4, only 4 tenths faster than our race leader Senna on soft tyres.
He may have had to get past Shadow Britton, I'm not sure. Shadow Britton's right behind him.
Not far behind, so we'll just switch back to the leader. So Senna still 6 seconds clear. I will say, as the race has calmed down and we're looking steady, do you have Lights on your friends list to invite to the party for the podium chat if he is fortunate enough to land on there?
For a few hours I don't, but I will try and get him in.
Oh, your microphone's going again. There we go.
I will try and get him in.
DCG with Broomy still within DRS.
I'm focused on this midfield battle. Todd Oliver, Romsey, Psycho Mitch. They're literally nothing between them as they come onto the straight.
No, this is going to be interesting into turn 1. Romsey, who looked like he was running really low fast wings, has the misfortune of Oliver in front of him having DRS. It looks like Oliver's about to get the move done. On the inside, he's ahead already before the turn, and that is the move done. Careful with the curb in two, but yeah, well done, Ollie. Nice move. Bit of a better race. I know he missed Baku, but he didn't have the best of times in China or Bahrain. He's had his moments here. Ran wide, didn't he, towards the end of the lap and caught the grass.
One slight issue.
But looks like his pace has been quite solid, and I'm sure he'll be pleased to pick up a few points. Mad G still 3 seconds behind Luke, who's on a lap older mediums. I don't know how Luke is still going on 19 lap old mediums. At the same time, I'm still baffled as to how Broomy is still going on hard tyres that are 26 laps old.
They are. Look, the front left is very blistery.
I think DCG's going to be cursing in his helmet, just wanting him to disappear into the pits. Looks like he struggled a little bit more out of that last turn that time to get the power down.
Raining on the medium as well for Luke.
Yeah, you can see the line. I do stream in HD, so fingers crossed those of you watching can see what we're talking about there as well. Senna's pulled another half a second out on the gap in the lead. Looking really, really good. I think he's got this under control now. Obviously with Lights having a 3 second penalty as well. Whether or not he knows and he's checked driver behind, Jeff's probably not even bothered to tell him, because we all know how good Jeff is. So Broomy still within half a second. DCG will be sick of the sight of that McLaren come the end of the race. I think Broomy's going to start feeling some problems going through turn 9 in the next couple of laps. Mad G's got the gap down to 2.1, 3 laps to go. Still time because them tyres are really going to get worse. Oh, he spun! Luke spun! So
he's got puncture rear left. Rear left.
Wow, he has. Well, oh, he spun again. I hope he doesn't retire on the track. Although I think, oh, careful, Luke. Well, you come back on.
Done,
I've learnt my lesson from that after last week. So, oh, well, I'll toot my own horn there and say I told you so.
20 laps on mediums. It's always a possibility.
So my next concern is Broomy.
I can tell you, I've seen 24 laps on hards.
Okay, well, Broomy's done 28. So
I know.
If he now gets a puncture, I'll point you or point him in your direction.
Punctures do seem to be a sort of, there's a minimum point at which it can happen.
ISRL Tommy looks like he's going to get the point for fastest lap as he overtakes Luke, who's now in the pits. So Luke will be gutted and Shadow will be absolutely delighted.
He's up into 10th.
He's got a point. Back to the front, looks like Lights has given up the chase for the win with that 3 second penalty. He's now 7.5 seconds. Oh, as he goes really wide from clipping the curb. Wow. 8 seconds now, the gap, 11 if you add on the penalty.
Just in that midfield battle, Romsey has got past Psycho Mitch.
And will now be hunting down Cod Oliver, and he's got the DRS, so I think we'll see a move on the start-finish straight here with this one.
This is solid points for
I don't know.
in 6th, 7th, 8th.
So Mad G's up into 5th, obviously, with Luke's retirement, so he'll be pleased with that. It's whether or not Broomy's tyres get him to the end. He's still within a second of DCG. We'll flick back to Ollie and Romsey because I think we're going to see a move down the start-finish straight here. Got
Romsey.
Ollie on 20 lap. Yeah, he's not going to get that done down the straight, is he?
Not from that distance. Not even really sort of getting into the toe.
So we'll flick back to the front. We'll see a little bit more of our very own Senna Martins controlling the race beautifully. He's not even going out to the curbs now. He's 9 seconds ahead. Oh, your microphone again, Ben. Lovely.
That might be the Jack.
Oh, we've got a yellow in sector 2.
No, 2.
No?
See who it is.
It doesn't look like there's anyone. Okay,
no.
Just a random yellow flag to make sure that... Oh, as Senna takes a strange line. Romsey picks up a 3 second penalty.
3 seconds.
So
that surely gives Ollie 6th place.
Ollie takes a really tight line. I'm sure he would have got a warning for that. Romsey's going to make a lunge here. Oh, that's close. That's really close.
Senna starting his final lap. Senna starting his final lap. 10 seconds clear. Surely just a break.
Oh, Mad G picks up a 3-second time penalty, but he's got enough over Oliver.
Luke KW with +3 as well, I think, there, but he is down in.
He's not going to be scoring any points, bar some serious incidents. So as we watch our race leader, who I would say has led pretty much, well, maybe just more than the safety car. As Lights picks up another 3-second penalty, DCG still 2.5 seconds out of pinching that position. So that's going to give Senna a lead of 15 seconds almost. As Luke sets the fastest lap of the race but won't score a point, so he's taken the point away from ISRL Tommy. As we watch Senna come around the last corner, and finally he does it. Senna Martins wins the Spanish Grand Prix and he will be over the moon. Absolutely delighted for him. As Lights comes round, a great debut in GP4, coming in 2nd place, showing some wonderful speed. And DCG, Broomy's got them to the end. Oh, as he slides out of the penultimate corner. DCG, our existing GP4 champion, who's dropped back down for a reserved race, has finished on the podium with Broomy in 4th, and a wonderful 5th position for Mad G. Oliver holds off Romsey, even though he's got a penalty. He takes 6th position. Romsey comes over the line slowly, strangely, in 7th, meaning that Psychomich jumps him. So he should have just carried on keeping his foot down. And
he jumped him by 22 thousandths.
Yep, so he slowed up before the line and lost another position. ISRL Tommy comes over in 9th, and Shadow Britain takes the last point in 10th. We've got Xander and Luke having a little bit of a battle coming in for 11th position. Looks like Xander's got that one covered on tyres that are all over the place. Oh, has he? Has he? Oh, Luke's got him. Oh, I don't know what Xander did there, but that's our race. Well, so after a bit of a hectic start with issues with the formation lap, jump starts and goings on, we'll see Senna take the top step of the podium, his first win of the season, and after his troubles in the last few races, I can already hear him down the headset, and I'm sure we'll hear exactly the same. We'll hear exactly the same when we get him in. So, Ben, if you want to go ahead and start inviting people, I'll give us a rundown of the finishes. So, ladies and gentlemen, another week over in SFR, another Grand Prix done, and another winner. Senna Martins takes home the victory with 1st place. Lights comes in 2nd with his debut drive as a reserve driver. Great finish for him. DCG takes the final podium spot with Broomy in 4th. Mad G takes 5th. Cod Oliver 6th. Psychomich 7th. We've then got Romsey in 8th. ISRL Tommy in 9th with Shadow Britain in 10th. Xander takes 11th with Luke in 12th. And the other Haas, Gisolodian, coming in 13th. Our non-finishers, Energy Dan, James Hook, Pro Oliver and Dave Shaw. And looks like there was quite a few penalties there as well. But a great day for Renault. 2 cars in the top 5, 1 on the podium, and that position on the podium is a 1st place. So Hunter is currently inviting the top 3 into the chat. And
to whom I am concerned. Fuck you!
Yes! Thank you. Apologies. Yeah, I can understand a very excited Senna after the pressures of the last couple of weeks. But Senna, congratulations. Absolutely delighted for you.
Thanks, mate.
We could already tell how that feels from your entry. But you're at least you're consistent in your language in podcasts and interviews, as you are on the racetrack as well. So well done. How was that?
Yeah, that was maybe. If I had a dream of how the race it should go, it was just everything went my way. I had good free air pace. Oh, I barely don't know what to say, mate.
No, it's
Just
good.
don't believe it.
I think everyone who spends time practicing with you and knows how you were feeling after China, let alone Baku, because you were incredibly strong in Baku. You had the speed to win that race as well. For me, the win came from the restart when you managed to get a few cars between you and Lights.
Yeah.
I think the way you drove on the restart was fantastic. Tell me about turn one with your teammate. So obviously he made a move on you at the start of the race, didn't he?
Yeah, we did. We were like in a party, and he just said, "I'm faster than you. I'm on the inside." I just said, "Okay, go," and I just let him the space, and it was the same way the lap after.
So, and
just said, "I'm faster."
Yeah, I was
and
going to
he let me
say,
through.
is that where you overtook him? Because we missed that on the stream. You got him back on the start-finish straight?
Yeah, it was. It was just like the same. He overtook me, and we just said, as long as we keep switching positions, Lights come get us, because we knew Lights had an amazing pace, and he was the man to be today.
Well, you know, Lights drove a fantastic race. I'm not sure if he's going to come into the lobby, but I will say
we haven't got him or DCG yet.
no. I will say once Lights was into second place, at no point did he close the gap to you. So. Not to divulge too much information into our messages on Discord, but I do believe you said to me this is going to be a really difficult one to win because Lights is really quick and DCG's back. And what did I say to you?
You said you're gonna be fine, I think, or something.
Yeah. So.
And you were damn right.
Yeah. Yeah, look, you drove superbly. You kept it really, really clean. The last few laps, obviously, really sensible driving, keeping away from the curbs.
Yeah.
But you must feel fantastic to have finally got a win. How many wins is that now in SFR?
2.
Brilliant.
2 more than me.
So,
I was even trying the last few laps to set a fastest lap, but I think I was 3 tenths.
No, there was some soft. Soft.
At
So
the
that
end,
point
so
had gone.
that was impossible. Yeah.
I wouldn't have worried yourself for that, mate. The 25 points is worth more than a fastest lap as well. You've got a long run of the season left, and I'm sure this won't be the last track that you're incredibly quick and consistent at. However, I will also say that when we did our first practice session here, your words were very similar to what you said when you came into the commentary this evening, and that you were going to struggle, and you weren't enjoying it. So what changed? What got you feeling like you did to drive like you did tonight?
I think I never did more practice than I did now on Spain, and like I said, the first laps I did on time trial in the first practice session, I was really slow. I was just struggling in every corner. Then I found a great setup for me. Also gave it to Gareth, my teammate, and it didn't work for him, but it worked extremely well for me, and I think that's a big part of my win today. I had a great setup that suits me extremely well.
Gareth was at the front of the grid and had a very solid 5th place. I'm sure he'll be happy with that as well.
Yeah, he is very happy too, because I think there happened something with Gareth. We're gonna see that in the stewards, but it was a drive bomb and stuff. I don't really know exactly, but I think me and Gareth should be able to podium together, because he did an amazing job, and he also really helped me to get a little gap between me and the cars behind. So really big congratulations to him too, because I think we're back in it as a Renault team.
Yeah, a great result. So you're going to be the first person to be asked next week, Monaco. Please don't swear. Please don't swear again. I
won't. I love it.
I would imagine that we all want to, but we saw a few
Monaco.
safety cars tonight, more than we anticipated at a track that is quite forgiving with runoffs and so on. How do you think it's going to go in Monaco?
I think we're gonna have around 1 or 2 laps of racing, and all the other laps around safety car. So I think the pole position will be very, very needed in Monaco, because I don't think it will change a lot during the race.
No. When I think of Monaco, I can't really think of one place that you can get a solid overtake done, unless you get a real good run through the tunnel going down into the S's. But now that they've put that wall on the inside of the left, it makes it very difficult because there isn't a bit of curb to take advantage of, because if you turn in, you're just going to lose half your front wing. And obviously the only other place really is, I would say, the start-finish straight. It's going to take something special for someone to put one up the inside of someone going into the hairpin without causing any sort of contact and mayhem. And I think it's a little bit more scary than Baku. Baku was still quite wide at points. Ben, what are your thoughts as we go to Monaco next week?
I've often found it's a horrible racetrack. It's certainly awful. I really hope it's dry. It's the one race where I hope it's very dry, because driving it and racing it in the wet is awful. But it's the most important qualifying session of the season. Strategy, Monaco's fairly straightforward on the tyres, I find, so strategy should be straightforward. But yeah, it's full of places where one mistake just takes out your whole race. Yeah,
even less forgiving than Baku. So I think we'll wrap it up there. We're not going to get DCG or lights into the comms, but well done to them both.
Yep.
You know, well second and third.
Thank you.
But yeah, most importantly, Senna takes his first win of the season. I think we're going to have a very happy Senna Martins for the practice week ahead.
Yeah.
Going into Monaco. We're all delighted for you, mate. You put in as many laps as others on this. You're always positive with your messages of support to people as well. So I don't think really today there was anyone more deserving of a win with how you've looked in practice. And obviously the troubles you've had in the past couple of races with connections, and then just the issues with Baku and what went on there. But we don't need to go into detail on that because we'll be here all night.
So, we will.
Guys, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, Ben, for joining me. Always nice to have my teammate on comms. First time, I think it went quite well. As I say, we do speak quite a lot, so yeah, there shouldn't be any issues with communication. Senna, well done. Everyone watching, thanks for watching. Thanks for the comments on the feed. Thank you to obviously all the guys that set this up every week and do their bits for the races that go on. If you've enjoyed what you've seen this evening, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications every time we go live as well. But other than that, tomorrow night it's GP3, and I believe our very own Senna Martins will be doing the commentary, and you'll have myself and Hunter in the race. Should be an interesting one. It looks like I'm starting from the back, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do and channeling my inner Max Verstappen for 33 laps of absolute mayhem. Guys, thank you ever so much. Take care, have a good evening, and we will see you tomorrow night. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Oh.
Off?
Not yet. I don't know why my PlayStation's not letting me end the stream. Right, I'm gonna have to